You guys come up. Yeah. Welcome. Everybody good? News people? Not saying anything, so I'll say you're good. So welcome. Good morning. Big smiles today. A lot of big smiles in the back, especially for a Friday. So this is a great news, great day. Appreciate you all coming. So I think everybody knows earlier this year, Governor Reynolds announced Destination Iowa funding program. Program funds transformative community projects that enhance the quality of life for a lot of Iowans. So today, I'm excited to announce the City of Davenport and the Figge Art Museum has received almost $10 million through Destination Iowa for a series of signature projects at Main Street Landing, along our historic and wonderful Davenport riverfront. Frankly, one of the nicest riverfronts in the nation. The project would not be possible without the commitment of current and previous city councils, and I see Alderwoman McGinnis, Alderman Ortiz, I apologize, Alderman Condon. Of course, our current city council is extremely invested in, improving the quality of life for our folks here in Davenport. Their vision and planning allowed Davenport to create a world-class proposal for Destination Iowa. And again, the vision and thoughtfulness of the city council's previous and especially the one now to do that. I especially want to thank, and we have many people to talk, many of our partners, including our world-class Figge Art Museum, Michelle Hargraves, Visit Quad Cities, Dave Harrell, the Riverfront Improvement Commission, who is our stewards for looking out for the riverfront and making sure that we do the right thing. So I see Bill and Bill Churchill, yep, Roger. Downtown Davenport Partnership, Kyle, who takes an effort, and Alicia and all their folks, who particularly focus and make sure that we're paying attention to what we should do. So I'm honored to be part of Team Davenport, the City Council, and all the people that invest in this city and the downtown and want to make it the destination that now the state of Iowa has recognized. So I want to make sure I recognize our city staff, Corey Spiegel, our city administrator, Nicole Gleason, our public works director, Chad Dyson, our parks director, and our CFO, Mallory Merritt, so many others, and all the people that actually do the work and actually write the grants and actually fill in. And then, of course, Misat, our chief strategy officer, who kind of maneuvers everything and facilitates everything and keeps in contact with everybody so that we're paying attention to what we're doing and that we're doing it at the right time. So I thank the City of Davenport staff and the leadership for keeping us on track and actually, putting together this destination grant. I want to thank Governor Reynolds and Director Durham with the IDA for this award. There are a lot of places in Iowa that deserve a lot of things, and their recognition of our riverfront, their recognition of our project and the way it was put together and the scoring and everything said that this is a place, this is a destination, and it's going to continue to build Davenport as Iowa's front porch. So I know you don't want to hear anything from me, more particular stuff from the people. So first I'll be followed by Clay Merritt, who's going to give you a little project description and maybe take you back a little bit in some history, and then where we are today. And so Clay, please, who does a lot of the work with the particular stuff when we ask.
Thank you, Mayor. So before talking a little bit about the project scope itself, wanted to take you a little bit back in history, if you will. So kind of what you can see on our right here, so probably just 7 years ago, I know time sometimes goes by very quickly, but 7 years ago, this is an aerial view of our riverfront, specifically the Main Street, what we refer to as Main Street Landing. So we're talking the foot of our downtown, from the roller dam to Leclerc Park. So you can see this image is dominated by a concrete parking lot. It's a riverboat that's there. It's associated infrastructure, and then a building, which unfortunately was not in use at the time. So in just, if you could go to the next image, this is what it looks like today. So as soon as the riverboat left, the mayor and the city council at the time, they started doing systematically going through and making various improvements to set ourselves up for an opportunity such as this. And so they've started clearing the site, getting it prepared. We've been doing some incremental improvements along the way that's been identified in River Vision to make sure we set ourselves up. But really, earlier this year when we found out that the state of Iowa created the Destination Iowa program, we were extremely excited. Instead of doing these smaller incremental projects, we had the opportunity to do something transformative in nature, something large. And that's what we were able to propose to them. If we could go to the next image. So from a city perspective, this is what we proposed in our application is the creation of Main Street Landing. It's something we've been talking about for decades. So centered in Main Street Landing is a high-intensity, multi-generational experience zone. So you can kind of see south of the tracks, you have custom elements. You'll have multi-story towers, you have slides, you have climbing apparatuses, you have water features, swings. Everything is custom built, specifically tailored to our community. And we want to make sure that we're not creating something that's just open for the summer. We also want to make sure that this can be in use throughout the entire calendar year, and that's important for us. We also want to continue to take a nod to, we have some of the best river views of anywhere along the Mississippi. So as closer you get to the roller dam, it's going to be more passive in nature. So, I mean, we're known nationally for our eagle watching. So we want to make sure we create space in there for that particular activity as well. One of the things, as we've talked about this in the past, is some of the challenges that we have. And in this project, we've put solutions to those challenges. So Canadian Pacific Rail, for instance, one of the components of the project is the installation of a quiet zone. And that's just not happening at the project location of what you see on this map. It goes all the way from Marquette Street to Mound Street. So it's a huge distance that's included in this we'll be able to get. And what that means is that when train traffic does come through, is that the engineers aren't required to basically blare their horn every 3 seconds. So this will put the infrastructure in place so that's no longer necessary all the time. An additional component of the project is you'll see a pedestrian bridge. So right underneath the Skybridge, you see where we have one coming over. So when there are trains, we can access both the north and south of the project limits, regardless of trains coming or going, and that we have ADA accessibility. It's extremely important to us that we have that. If you can go to the next image. Before introducing Michelle to talk about her exciting component, we want to also make sure that we correspond to them as well. And so we have technological upgrades to the Skybridge to ensure that we have lighting systems in place and that throughout the entirety of the park, it is well lit and it is something that is truly spectacular that you won't see anywhere else in the state of Iowa or really in this entire region. Another one of the things I wanted to touch on too from a challenges perspective we also hear about that we've included these solutions into this project is flooding. So everyone goes, what happens when it floods? Well, certain aspects of it during some of the more minor flooding will be elevated out of the floodway, so perhaps won't even be impacted. Some of our larger floods, we're going to make sure that all of this equipment, all of this stuff is resilient to any type of flood. So when the floods do happen, we know it's happening. We're able to address it once it's over, clean it, and return it back to the public. It was a very important part of our project application is to ensure that that was in there and that this is in complete alignment with our Mississippi River Flood Resiliency Program. So with that being said, I'll turn it back over to the mayor and have him continue.
Cool. Thank you, sir. So wonderful announcement and understanding of what it really looks like. So one of the big partners in this is the Figge Art Museum and Michelle Hargraves, who runs that. Wait to see this. So Michelle, thank you.
Thank you. Well, I would love to extend my deepest gratitude to Mayor Mattson, to the City Council, to Visit Quad Cities, to Downtown Davenport Partnership, and all the city staff as well for this wonderful partnership and allowing us to be part of this grant. We're also so grateful to Governor Reynolds and Destination Iowa for this important investment in arts and culture and Davenport and making a long-desired dream of our community come into fruition. When the Figge was designed by renowned British architect Sir David Chipperfield, the original intent of both the architect and the community was to illuminate the building's glass facade in order to provide an ethereal glow at night. Cost overruns during construction prevented this from happening, and over the years, stakeholders, donors, and community members repeatedly lamented the omission of exterior lights. They noted that the building's glass exterior becomes almost completely dark at night, creating a blank space in the city skyline. And out of these conversations, an idea arose to move beyond conventional building lighting to transform the Figge through art and light, making it a public artwork that all in our community can enjoy. Now, thanks to the state of Iowa, which has generously provided $1.6 million in support of this project, and to the Regional Development Authority, the Bechtel Charitable Trusts, Don and Connie Decker, Bill and Marie Weiss, Tom and Jennifer Figge, Patricia Figge, members of the Figge family in memory of John Figge, and other wonderful donors in our community, we can move forward with this exciting initiative. So we're pleased to share that internationally acclaimed light artist Leo Villarreal will work with RDG Lighting in Des Moines and the Figge staff to realize Evanescent Field, a light sculpture comprising over 3,000 linear feet of powerful full-color LED fixtures. The sculpture will be integrated into all four sides of the museum's building to fully activate the space and maximize the artwork's impact. It will be activated at night, and it will brilliantly illuminate the Figge's landmark glass building and will be seen by everyone along the riverfront in downtown Davenport, as well as across the river in Rock Island. And this innovative contemporary artwork will comprise over 1,000 LED lights and will be driven by software and algorithms inspired by the riverfront and surrounding area. With the Figge's glass structure and the ability of these LED lights to realize over 2 million colors, evanescent fields will reflect and emit light in constantly changing patterns, creating an ephemeral field of light on the Mississippi River and beyond. With the Figge's location, the museum will become a cultural beacon in downtown Davenport and throughout the entire Quad Cities region, and become a jewel for the community and a place of pride for Quad City residents. Evanescent Fields will activate the riverfront by providing cultural, educational, recreational, and community building opportunities for residents, enhance the experience of the Quad Cities for our out-of-town guests, and attract tourism to the region. Given the artist's international stature, we anticipate that the illuminated Figge will garner media attention and raise the profile of the museum in all of Davenport. The project continues the cultural and economic revitalization of downtown Davenport and the surrounding Quad Cities metropolitan area. Evanescent Fields will provide an unforgettable art experience to visitors to downtown Davenport and the waterfront, and everyone within miles of the Figge will be able to experience the building's illumination at night. Accessible to all and free of charge, it will help create a more livable and vibrant downtown area that will help build regional identity and offer opportunities for connection and foster civic pride. As mentioned, Villarreal is a world-renowned architect who has created light commissions all around the world, and each of his monumental light sculptures have become iconic public works of art that engender connection. He describes each as, quote, a digital campfire where people can come and gather to have a shared experience of a monumental contemporary artwork, end quote. So public sculptures such as his not only drive community engagement and tourism, but they also have an economic impact on the region. For example, in its initial 2-year run, his light sculpture on the Bay Bridge, Bay Lights in San Francisco, was seen by over 50 million people. And it's estimated that it conservatively generated 97 million that was added to the local economy. Closer to home, the High Trestle Bridge in Madison, Iowa, which incorporates public art and lighting, draws about 250,000 visitors each year to that area. So, and finally, quality of life is often cited as a major driver behind our region's global competitiveness, as well as our ability to attract and retain top talent. And to have a wonderful place to live, work, and raise a family. As a cultural beacon, Evanescent Field will be integral to the region's livability and quality of life. And we again thank the state of Iowa, the governor, our donors, and the city for investing in placemaking in our community.
Thank you, Michelle. She said it numerous times, and I agree. The beacon that will draw, that will bring people here, keep people here, but that in coordination with this, what an awesome thing. So following now, a person that probably wants to see this beacon lit up more than anybody to draw, Dave Harrell, great partner with us. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Mayor. Boy, Michelle's a tough act to follow. Quite frankly, I think you captured everything perfectly. I don't think there's any more that I can add, but I'll do my best. I think first I want to thank the mayor and the city council, Corey Spiegel, the wonderfully talented city staff, and particularly Clay, who just did an amazing job, and not necessarily on all of the technical things, because we know the expertise that the city staff has, but the approach that the city took in a collaborative, team-based way that I think is yielding the result that you're seeing here today. I want to thank Kyle Carter. Kyle is so instrumental in not only being an advocate for everything in downtown, but his relationships in Des Moines are critically important for how we advocate for ideas like this and how we can work together in a way to see these things come to fruition. I want to thank Governor Reynolds, and I'll give you a little backstory. So Sarah, indulge me for a minute. When we went through the pandemic, there were a lot of conversations with Director Durham, with the governor's administration, about economic development, about quality of place, about tourism, about the system shock. How are we going to come out of this? And I really want to commend the governor for stepping up and Director Durham for working in a way that said, okay, we've got to come up with some solutions. We've got to find some investment, and we've got to reinvest in the state of Iowa in things that are going to competitively position us for the future. And so sometimes that's hard to take that political will and move it forward, but the governor did that, and Director Durham helped put that and piece that program together. So Destination Iowa is such a critically important investment, not only for what I think we're doing today, but I think for how we want to think about the future in the Quad Cities, in the state of Iowa, because it is a hyper-competitive space that we live in today in a 21st century economy. Michelle, touched on it. We're trying to figure out a way to get worldwide attention. So you need cool stuff to be able to do that, right? We're trying to retain talent, attract new talent, find the private sector to further advance economic development, opportunities that hopefully are going to drive a tax base. You're trying to create quality of life and a quality of place where your residents are proud and have a sense of pride for the community that they live in, and whether they're 4 years old or 104 years old, they want to be proud of the community that they live in. And an investment like this, I think, helps accomplish that objective. I think people will ask me, why is this important? Well, it's important for a lot of reasons. I think it's important because when we talk about our tourism master plan and we talk about destination development and ideas and all of these things that we're trying to advance, ideas are what matters. It's what moves communities forward. Clay touched on solutions. You got to have creative solutions to tackle big problems, and I think the city is doing phenomenally well in that arena. And it's not easy. And then you've got the city council and you've got the mayor from a public sector perspective that are willing to take the hill and say, you know what, this is the best thing that we can do for our community's legacy, to make sure that we are competitively positioned for the future and that we can really build a legacy for Davenport and the entire Quad Cities regional destination. Will this be good for tourism? Absolutely. Will this be something that I think will draw people? Absolutely. You know, we want to have an internationally recognized, world-class, must-experience riverfront destination. And the only way to do that is to invest in our own community. And this is something that is absolutely accomplishing that objective. Visit Quad Cities is proud of this opportunity. On behalf of our board and our team, we're so grateful for how this collaborative approach and this team-based kind of mindset is really realizing the result that we're seeing today. And so what this tells me is we can do more of this as Quad citizens. This just doesn't have to be in Davenport. We can do this all throughout the region if we come together creatively. We have the right ideas. We work together. We might not always agree, and that's okay. But I think what we're all trying to strive for is how do we make the Quad Cities the absolute best that it can be. So thank you, Mayor. We appreciate you. You're quarterbacking this effort. And Michelle, congratulations to you. I can't wait to see this come to fruition. Clay, thank you for your expertise and really the entire city team for all that they do. I mean, public service is such an important thing. And sometimes the city staff needs to be recognized as much as they can by the stakeholders that are blessed to work with them. So thank you so much today. This is a great win, not only for Davenport, but for the entire region, and we're excited for the future. So thank you, Mayor.
So again, I started off lots of smiles today, so we'll continue that. But if anybody has any comments or questions, certainly the experts are standing to the left and right, or maybe even here. I just get to be the wonderful spokesperson sometimes, and I'm proud of the team Davenport, as you heard. So another great thing. So if anybody has anything for anyone, yes, sir.
Could you give us a kind of timeline of when these things are going to happen for any and all of the projects?
Good question. I'll let Mr. Merritt do that.
Sure. So as you can see, we have a lot of different moving components. So I would imagine that in the next coming year, so 2023, it's going to be a year of design for most of these. And I would start probably seeing some of this implementation happening probably early to mid 2024, and then extending probably into 2025 as well. And that's for the full project in of itself. Yep.
We're committed to going next year. Anyone else? Sir?
What's the total cost of the projects and how much is public versus private?
Roger that.
Sure. So total project for everything is $24 million. So the state of Iowa is contributing $9.6 million. The city of Davenport, $12 million. And then the Figge Art Museum, they're raising $2.4.
What's the status of the Figge fundraising?
We have about 200,000 to go.
Great.
And that was pretty awesome that in such a short period of time when
2 months.
the city and the Figge came together to discuss this, she's like, well, if you do it, we're doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it was kind of like that, right? And we're like, okay. And that was really cool, and a credit to her and her folks to get that job done.
Thank you, and to you. And it shows how much the community believes in what we're doing, that they came behind us so quickly.
Mayor Madsen again, I mean, we saw the slides with the riverboat there, and for many years there was the discussion of what are we going to do with this area? What is it like to finally see all these drawings and everything?
So I can't express the happiness that this is bringing. I think many people have heard some of my speeches in the past about when I grew up here, and I was just talking with them today. And I use this, and I know Kyle's heard it, and he's probably tired of me saying it, but years ago, there was a dump burning downtown, right? But through the foresight of previous councils, city leaders, business leaders, partners from everywhere coming together and say, we're not doing that. We're cleaning that up. We're taking care of this. Whether it was River Vision or Renaissance or Air or the Army or all the different folks, things do take a little while. But as someone who grew up here, someone who has seen the evolution of both the Legion building and the dock and the Skybridge. You know, a lot of people still, oh, what is that? Well, it's a thing now, right? What is this going to be? What is continuous planning, continuous efforts by so many people to evolve this space into something, again, and I'm going to steal Michelle's words, the beacon for the Midwest. If you want a headline, this is the beacon for the Midwest, right? The Figge lit up, the downtown. I mean, can you go back to that slide where it's at night? I don't know if that's possible. Anybody see what that kind of, I mean, the trail and the rope or the lake, I mean, and then the Figges right there with, I mean, that, where else in the world is something like this? So, I mean, I've long-winded answer for you. It's amazing. It's simply amazing that this is going to be here in our community for folks to, as Dave said, to think about and reflect on for generations, right? For folks who saw before what it was like to people who are not even born yet to see this evolution on our riverfront with all the different people, excuse me, it's just amazing. That's why I say there's as good smiles on people's faces, to include mine, as there ever been. And you go here at night now in downtown Davenport, and you're standing or you're sitting at the Figge, or you're sitting down here, or you're walking with your family, or you're, you know, I talk about, you know, whatever you do here, walk your dog, raise your family, run a business, engage, whatever you get to do, and do it here at this place. And there's many other places around here you can do it at. But now this cool nighttime lit up place in the middle of our riverfront, we have, you know, the experience. I'd be remiss if I didn't say the evolution of Veterans Memorial Park on one end, the evolution of Heritage Park on the other end along the riverfront, right? And then this for our downtown in the middle. But that combination of all of those things coming together and continue investment, continue growth, and continue work to raise the level of interest, of satisfaction, of enjoyment with the beacon to draw. And, I mean, think about it. You guys can cut me off, Sarah. Probably throw something in your shirt. Think about, you're flying over this thing, right? You fly over the top of the Mississippi River, and you look down, and there's these shiny. I'm guessing. What's that? What's going on down there? Oh, that's Davenport, Iowa. That's that cool place, right? That's that place that has evolved on the river, that lives with the river. Not too many people want to do that. We've committed a long time ago, and to the credit of many people before, and the credit of folks now on the city council and many others, that we're to live with the river. And as you heard Clay, we understand the issues. We understand the concerns, whether it's a railroad concern, a flooding concern, that we can do these things living with the river. And that's pretty cool. So, I don't know if I answered your question. Thanks for that. What else, folks?
And Mayor, is Quinlan Court lit up at night, and do you anticipate with this investment, more special events will come to Quinlan Court and the whole
Great question.
area?
Short answer, yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep, it'll be incorporated into everything.
And we do some of that now, but now with the light and all that, and the expansion of how we're looking at that space and incorporating here, I mean, you can think of the band shell, you can think of you can think of the courtyard at the Figge, you can think of all those things. With all the man, people are being like, "Can I go there? What do I need to do?" You know.
But do you hope more special events will plan?
We think so, sir. Yep. Mrs. McGinnis, Alderman McGinnis, who's kind of in charge of this area down here. Please come.
Oh, well, I didn't want to, I'm sorry.
No, please.
This has been very exciting.
It's a smiley day, so.
And I don't mean, but I think one of the things too that I'm excited about as a council member, and I know my fellow council people are, as well as the staff, is when we began to talk about the Main Street Landing and the design of our riverfront many years ago, and when it was committed to do Main Street Landing, we had said to the staff, go find the money. We know that spending money here is a challenge, and there's many things that need to be done in the city. So what is also exciting, I think, about this project is a lot of this money is coming from ARPA funding. It also comes from Canadian Pacific funding. And so these are exciting elements, too, that this is money that will it's a collaboration, and the staff working hard to look for these opportunities has been a very exciting part of this. The goal was to go find the money, and staff has done a very, very diligent job of that outside our regular funding mechanisms. So we're very excited about that as well. Thank you.
How much of the
Great
city
points.
funding is ARPA,
Yeah, so of the city's 12 million that's committed to the project, 6 million is ARPA. And the 6 million is from, the remaining 6 million rather, is from the agreement with Canadian Pacific.
Anyone else? Thank you for coming. Kyle, you want to say? Come on.
I'll make it very quick.
Happy to have
Kyle Carter, Executive Director for Downtown Davenport Partnership.
Sarah's over there.
So first of all, this is the commentary today is some of the best I've ever heard at City Hall. I just want to reiterate everything that was said, but specifically as it relates to downtown, the vision of this riverfront has always been tied to the longevity and the health of what we're trying to accomplish in downtown proper as well. And one of the things that we've lacked over the years is that real connectivity between the river and downtown, because River Drive has always been a challenge. This really addresses one of those key issues with accessibility, and ultimately this is going to produce economic development. While this is a quality of place investment, it will translate to higher property values in downtown, more likely that a business will locate here, more traffic to the core. And I always say, while this project is going to be the beacon, this vision and what you will see on a riverfront is the postcard of our community. When we go and brag to our friends about why we live in Davenport, why we live in the Quad Cities, this shot that you're going to see, this skyline, is what we're talking about. And you want to talk about community pride, you want to talk about why would I choose to invest here, why would I choose to live in an apartment down here or raise my family here, it's for reasons like this. And but for large, intentional, complicated, hard projects like this, that outcome doesn't happen. And so I just want to thank the city, I want to thank all of our private partners, but just to tie the final dot together, that quality of place leads to economic investment, which leads to talent and the attraction and the retention of the people that are going to grow this community, grow this tax base, and give us all the life that we want to live here in the Quad Cities. So congratulations to everyone here, and thank you for a moment.
Yeah, no problem. So, headlines for y'all. Beacon, postcard, front porch, all that, right? So, anything else, folks? Thank you for your time. I appreciate you being here. Wonderful day in Davenport. Nice job.
Thank you, John.
Very good. Thank you.